Erev Shabbos Parshas Toldos. Tonight's Zera Shimshon Shiur is Lila Nishmas Shalom ben Tzadok, whose yard site is on Gimel Kislev. That's sponsored by the Bishko Mishpacha, and for a Refuah Shlema for Gitalei Bas Ahuva. Shimshon Chaim ben Menachem Achol, his zchus should protect them, protect all of us, and we should be Zoicha Bezus Hashem, Bonei Chaim, Zoinei Shedichem, alle Gita Zachen, Bezus Hashem. Zchus of the Zera Shimshon. Take a look at page Reish Samach Hey in Parshas Toldos. That's letter Zion. Sham b'medrash. The Zera Shimshon begins on the pasuk. Vayhi ki zoken Yitzchak v'techehena einav meira'os. Yitzchak got old and his eyes dimmed. He couldn't see. Yitzchak went blind. Not so complimentary for the Avos HaKadoshim. By Avram, it said when he passed away, he was Seva, Zokein. When Avram passed away, he wasn't missing anything. He died appropriately for a person who was one of the Avos HaOlam. Yitzchak, what's he doing with these Isurim, blindness? The Zera Shimshon quotes a medrash, astonishing. Yitzchak asked for it. It was a request that he made. Maybe not necessarily for blindness, but for Yisurim. Let's read the medrash in its original. Take a look. Medrash Rabbah, Samach Hey, Amar Rabbi Yehuda bar Simon. The medrash is astonishing. Avram Tova Zikna. Avram was Toiveya, just asking, and there's being Toiveya. I think in English we would call that demanding. He was Toiveya. What? Zikna. Amar lefanev Rabbeinu Olamim. Adam ubenoi nichnasim lamakom. A man and his son go into a place. We don't know who to be mechabed. This way we'll know who to give respect to. Rav Dessler's medayik that the reason he wanted zikna was so that he'd be able to do the mitzvah of to be mechabed elderly people. It was based on his midah of chesed. But Rebbeinu Shalom, how are we to understand this? I mean, let's put this, I'm not going to focus too much on this because we're talking about Yitzchak, but I want to appreciate what Avram Avinu was thinking. I want to ask everyone a question. Has anybody ever heard of this concept called the potion or the fountain of life, where you can take they're trying to create something that you shouldn't get old? I'm all geheard from them. Yeah? Could you imagine if somebody found the remedy and before he had a chance to share it with the world, they shot him? The pharmaceuticals, because they put them out of business. They put him. Imagine you don't get old enough to have a day pill and yen pill. Yeah. All of you with gray hair know what I'm talking about. Fountain of youth. Was kenzan schlecht. On the contrary, everybody wants it. So you kill the person who's going to do it. That person, he was going to save the world, to make life quality. Do you understand what Avram Avinu asked for? He says, no, it's no good everybody's young. We need them to be old. What was he thinking? That's a kasha, no? It needs a hesber. It needs a hesber. He's the first. B'ez Hashem, we'll get back to it. So he was Toiveya Zikna, Amalei Kodesh Baruch Hu, Chayecha Davar Toiv Tavat. I agree with you. I agree with you so much. We'll start with you. Memcha Maschil. Mitchilas HaSefer Adkan Ein Ksiv Zikna. Never does it say in the Torah anyone got old until Avram Avinu. They lived hundreds and hundreds of years. Nicht alt geworden. Nobody got old.
Older, but not old.
What age were they created? How old was Adam Arishon when he came out of the ground?
0.
0? He came out like an adult. What was the age of Adam Arishon? Chazal say he was a bar einshin. What age is a bar einshin? 20 years old.
Oh, 20.
20 years old. He skipped his teenage years. How many of us parents would love our kids to skip the teenage years?
I will. What teenage back then?
He started, right? He went from 0 to 20 in the moment of creation. Became a bar einshin, right? He came out an adult, fully grown. He didn't come out as a baby. His children were born. The first children to be born was Cain and Hevel and their Toimim. But Adam Rishon was created a bar einshin. And from that he looked 20 years old. He looked that age, never got older. Didn't look older. Kach Hava for over 2,000 years. Until Avram got old. Avram was born the year 1948 in Bria Sa'olam. And when he was Avram Zokein, he was already in over 100. That's when old age hit, because he asked for it. He started looking old. You're right, the 700-year-old didn't look old when he asked for it. Avram, the Medrash just said, I'm now 80, I'm not understanding you. The Medrash said he asked for it, so it started with him. So then it settled into the world. And whoever's age, wherever the person was, we all started getting old. It started with him at the age that he asked for it. That's what the Medrash says. It started with him. Says the Medrash, Yitzchak, this is what the Zera Shimshon's quoting, Yitzchak Tava Yisurim. He was Tavei Yisurim, Amalafan of Rabbeinu Shalaylam. I'm worried. As Yitzchak says, Adam meis beloy Yisurim. If a person dies and he has too good of a life, he's going to come up to Shamayim. He's going to come to Shamayim, and they're going to have a whole list of things. Tzul, you have to pay. It's Tanua got here. It's Tanua. Like when a person goes on a vacation. I once heard from one of my mishpucha. You go on a vacation, hotel, car, food, every single night, a restaurant, and then at the end you get a bill. Who's paying that bill? You come to this world, Baruch Hashem, Hanoah, Sigit, we have what we need, Yidden's on the Hoven, whatever you need. Tzul. And if you don't have what to pay with, says bitter, it's not good. Says Yitzchak, have an eitzah. Let me pay for it now. Let me pay down the cheshbon. When I come to the next, like paying your taxes, pay down a little bit, don't get bit by a big bill afterwards. If you give him Isurim in this world, Yitzchak said, I'm not asking for a bad thing. I know from this perspective in this world, Yisurim looks bad, but I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking what's going to be in the next world. You're right. You're absolutely right. You have the schus to ask. I'm going to start with you. Mimchani maschil. And therefore, mitchilas hasefer ad kan engsiv yisurim. Kivan shomed Yitzchak unosan lo yisurim. Shenema, like it says, vayiki zoken Yitzchak v'techehena einav. Yitzchak was the one to ask. It started with Yitzchak. No one had any form of suffering until Yitzchak came along. He initiated it. He requested it. He brought it to the world, and therefore it started with him. Justifiably so. Yaakov Tova Choyli. Imagine that. Zikna Yisurim Choyli. Fusamar Inzer Ovis Getin Se'ens. What did they do to us? All the blessings of the world. Each one was Teveh a different one. It says, He's not going to have a chance to tell his kids what to do. At least he can make things work between his kids. How's a person going to prepare for the next world? How's he going to prepare his family if he doesn't get sick? I'm like, you're absolutely right. Up until that time, it never says in the Chumash that someone had gotten sick. Because that's when it happened. How could it happen to Yaakov Avinu? How could Yitzchak get blind and have Yisurim? How could Avraham Avinu get old? How could such wonderful Yisodei Shalom get such terrible things? The Torah says only one thing, says a They must have asked for it. It would have never happened against their will. They wanted it, which gives us, astonishingly, or should give us an understanding that they're not looking at the world the way we are, that they're seeing the world from a perspective. Our job tonight and in general is to try to understand the world according to the Avos HaKadoshim. What's this Inyan? Let's see what the Zera Shimshon says. Zuk Tehelig Zera Shimshon. I've read the Medrash for you. Ad Kan Lashon, that's the first paragraph. Tzorchian. The Zera Shimshon asks for the following simple kasha. Golus is already, Golus Mitzrayim. Avram Avinu was told by the Bris Ben Absarim, Yodei Ateda Kiger Yezaracha Be'eretz Loilahem. When Avram said, how am I supposed to know? Avram was told, the Eibishter told him that there's going to be 400 years of Gullus. If that's not Isurim, says the Zera Shimshon, what is Isurim? 400 years of Gullus is Isurim. What do you mean there was no Isurim? What does the Medrash mean there was no Isurim? The Torah Kedusha says there was, maybe Gullus didn't start yet. According to one pshat, as soon as Yitzchak was born, that's when the 400 years started, right? Because he was already a foreigner. Okay. When it says that there was no Isurim, it's referring to a Yochid. He doesn't say why and what the reason is. The Yachid wouldn't get Isurim on his own. If there was for the Tzibur, then he would get. I don't know where this medrash is that he's quoting. He doesn't say where it is. But Sodom was given ample time and warning to do tshuva. The Eibusher wasn't looking out to get them without giving them a warning first. He had given them, they push it, ignored it, they didn't listen. So, Zot the Zera Shimshon, for a tzibur, yes, but for a yachid, no, and Yitzchak was mechadish. I don't understand. The Gemara says that how does a person know where he's holding when it comes to Shamayim? The Eibusher is happy with me or not happy with me? How does a person know? I think I once said here what the Chidah says. The Chidah says, a Talmud Chacham, he says if his wife is not happy with him, it's a siman that in Shamayim they're not happy with him. If his wife is mapsut, mapsut, you know what that means?
Upset.
No, not upset. Mapsut means happy. If she's okay, then you're okay. If she's okay, then you're okay. As I state in Chidah, that she's a reflection of as I state in Chidah. But he says, the Gemara says, Kol hayoshev arboim yoim beli isurin. If a person goes 40 days straight and nothing happens, that's a problem. Kibul olamay b'chayav. So state like Gemara in Erechem. It's this world is not the world which was meant for relaxation and enjoyment. Hayoim la'asoyso mochel lekabel schar. Hayoim la'asoyso mochel lekabel schar. So if you have Yisurim a little bit, no. Okay, your house good. Too good is nish good. The koidim she Yitzchak tavei surim freik the Zera Shimshon. So you mean to say so everything was good? So all the people who lived before Yitzchak, none of them got olam haba because all of them had a good life because there was no isurim. How is that possible? There were many tzaddikim, Chanoich, Mesushalach, Shei, Noach. There were many people. Noach had it hard, we know. But if they went 40 days straight from good, so that means it was all good. I want to tell you the Yisoid and was tutzach. Mitchilo yezoichen avada, like the Gemara says, otu tzadik li'ochi treyama misanalu. A tzaddik doesn't have to just have good in the next world. The Gemara says in the Hiriyas, you think if a tzaddik has good in this world, sometimes a person is zoich b'oichel shnei shulchanos. A person can have it good in this world, a person have it. Epis atzad dafer haben, but avada the Rebbeinu Shalom. When the Berger created the world, like we said many times, Vayar ki toiv, vayar ki toiv, vayar ki toiv. Everything in the world was good. But he said one thing at the end of the Bria. Toiv ma'oid. Ma'oid is Isis Adam. Mister, you're going to make it good and you're going to make it, unfortunately, nish good. The ganze toiv is tali in Adam. Toiv me'oid. The Adam's toiv, the Adam's attitude, the Adam's matziv will make this world a good place, or chas v'shalom nish. Ad kidei kach, that with the bad attitude, they can not just destroy themselves and destroy the world. The haraya, like the Medrash says, there were two instances in the Torah in Bereshis where not only were people unfortunately punished, by the Mabel, it wasn't just the people, the whole world was destroyed. When Sodom and Amorah lived the life that they did, not only was Sodom people destroyed, till today, nobody can live in that place. Gofris v'melach sreifa kol, they destroyed the world spiritually in such a place that no human being would ever be able to live there again. That's how decrepit these people were. Geferlach. Mitzad Sheni, in this week's Parsha, when Yaakov Avinu was sitting in front of his father to get the brachas, Vayoreach es reach hasodeh, says Rashi, he smells Gan Eden. How'd Gan Eden get into this world? What happened to Or Adama? The Torah says the Oves HaKadoshim brought the sweet scent of Gan Eden back to this world. Like the Gemara says in Baba Basra, Yud Zayin Amid Aleph, Tez Zayin Amid Beis, Gimel HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them a tam of Olam Haba and Olam Hazeh. They already had a taste. Mitkiken Shmekin Gan Eden, when Yaakov Avinu was sitting right in front of Yitzchak. State in the Tzror Hamor, I believe, that the klolis that Adam Harishon brought to the world, all the klolis in Bereshis, thanks to the brachas of Yitzchak, v'yitin l'chol ekim mital Hashem, all of them became brachas. All of them were nimshach to become brachas. To Yaakov Avinu, from Yitzchak to Yaakov. They all became brachas. So instead of zelu umazeh, people destroying the world, the right people bring bracha to the world, and the oretz becomes a zaftig, a good, a healthy, a benched place. So Avada, the Rabbi Shalom says the Zera Shimshon wants a tzaddik to have good in this world. It's toiv, and you make it toiv, it'll be good. Zvasi. So what's with Yisurim? Omnam la'achar jenitna Torah nishchades ha'alocha kasher yiyaser ishes benoi Hashem Elokecha meyasreka. With Nesinas HaTorah, the Rebbeinu Shalom gave not just opportunities, but he also made us accountable. We're accountable for our actions, and there's expectations. You have responsibility. The world is totally in you. You just got the Torah. Greater responsibility means greater accountability. You have more responsibility. You get a promotion in a company, right? You're managing a certain agaf. That means you're managing a certain chelik of the thing. So now the boss wants to know, how are we doing? You got more responsibility, you're getting a better paycheck. Of a mitzad sheni, you got to produce. That part of the business has to be doing well. Like nish, you're responsible. Kachazed, the Meilu, the Gemara says, Melamed shekla yisol boim ledin tchila. Then when the Rebbeinu makes a reckoning, he looks at us and says, how are we doing? How's my world doing? He looks to the Yidden and say, how are we doing? You tell me, I gave the world. I gave it to you. Tell me how we're doing. And what happens if we're not doing so well? Those Yisurim are not bad. Those are to make sure you shouldn't lose your job. because you don't want to lose your job. You want to stay in your job. And if I'm not doing a good job, tell me about it so I can know and help me fix it up. That's what these Yisurim are there. Lefichach nitna Torah de Yisurim. L'ramois al zeh. Yitzchak was the one who created these Yisurim. Kenoida, the Mesitra, the Yitzchak Kiblu Yisraelis Atayra Mipi Hagvura Mamish. Mitzad Adin, what's known as Gevura, which is Midas Yitzchak. Shenemar Veidaber Lekim. Elikim is midas hadin as kol advar me'ela v'lechein nosnu be'esh u'b'shoifer ve'eloi shel Yitzchak. That's why Yitzchak Avinu is what's called mepi hagvura. That's called megura. There's a zoyer over here. If we have time, let's see soon. We'll look inside. So one pshat says the Zera Shimshon, even though there was Yisurim in the world, and there was a cheshbon of Arba Me'ah Shana, even though that was there, Ein Hachinami, but that was for a tzibur. That's what the Zera Shimshon says. It wasn't for a yachid, number one. And number two, even though there was Yisurim in the world, Yitzchak was mechadish that when the Torah would be given, then it would also be given with Yisurim. That means to say, I'm not going to wait for the next world to punish you. I'm not going to wait that, like the Medrash says, you'll come after your big vacation of 70, 80, 90 years, and they're going to show you a bill. Tzul. No, I'll let you pay it off slowly now. So when you get the Torah, you'll be able to get cheshbonus of Olam Haba in Olam Hazeh. Nearly, that only because Yitzchak, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were mekasher, these two worlds. They were mekasher the worlds. They're already zoicha to chelik and oilav of oilam haba in this world, like the Gemara in Baba Basra says. Therefore, they were able to ask the Eibishter and be successful. Let's start doing the cheshbon of mochar lekabel schar already in this world too. Let us already be able. Somebody who doesn't have shaykhis to oilam haba can't make such a request. Or if someone's a bailam a shtickle on oilam haba, he has a chelik. Ken erbeit and the Rabbi Chaim listens. That's one pshat. Inami yesh loimer shekodom Yitzchak lo hoya yisurim shel guf ba'olam hazeh. The type of yisurim that Yitzchak was mechadesh was yisurei haguf. That wasn't there. Elohoya mismarkim biyisurei hanefesh la'olam haba. Instead of getting yisurei haguf, there would be yisurei hanefesh in the next world. Even if there was Yisurim, it was just to wake people up. Yitzchak asked if a person had hano with a part of his body that he shouldn't have had hano with. He saw something, he heard something. If his eye hurts him and he has the right kavana, he's nischaper for that Aveira. That's it. You're off the hook because you've already had the Yisurim. As long as a person's intent and he's makabel, you stub your toe. Maybe I went someplace I shouldn't have gone. Maybe something, right? Chopin zinin, Eibishter, I trust you. You don't want what's bad for me. So this is what we call in Ivrit, kapara. You know what that means? Kapara, and that's it. Who was machadish that? Yitzchak Avinu. Yitzchak Geven, from the tzad of Midas Hadin, he could ask for it. And he said, Rabbi Shem, why should you pay us back in the next world? Take it in this world. Kachava and Melo Rabbi Shem, listen to him. V'Yitzchak tova sheyava yisurim l'Amerika oven kedei shelo yehei shas misa midas hadin metucha kenegdai. So when a person is nifter, he shouldn't be able to say, Hosti had all this. No, Eibishter, I had some tzudas too. I didn't have such a good time. It was hard to get up in the morning sometimes. Titmachvai derikken, it hurt this, etc. I got up anyway. Those, and sometimes you should know, the Gemara in Berger says, a person doesn't do anything wrong. It's just Yisurim Shel Ahava. It's just Yisurim Shel Ahava. Because if you do Torah and mitzvahs and it hurts, then you get more schar for doing it. Doesn't mean because a person did Yisurim, that means as there is shlach. Gemara says there's something called Yisurim Shel Ahava. It was taka for grace at tzaddikim. V'zeh she'omar dover toiv tavata. You're right. Mimchani maschil shetechaper behem ba'olam hazeh mechet shechato. Now, what did Yitzchak do wrong? What was his sin? What Vosepis his eyes? Says the Zera Shimshon, al shehibit b'shchina ke'ena. He looked at the Shechina. Do you know when that happened? Avada at the Akedah. When he looked up, he was on such a high madrega. Kanireh, this was a taina on him. For his madrega, he shouldn't have looked. Because he looked, that's why he became blind. Now I want to finish with a pshat in Rashi. I want to be matzik, a shtickle over here, Yaakov Avinu. Rashi says, why did Yitzchak become blind? So that Esav should not be, so Yaakov should be able to get the brachas. Correct? Rashi gives 3 reasons. If you look in Rashi, Rashi doesn't say 1 reason. Rashi says 3 reasons. Here's one over here, Shekoyach. Rashi says 3 reasons that Yaakov gets the brachas. Let me find it 1 second. One is because he looked at the malachim. One is because of the smoke of Esav's wives. One was because of the smoke of Esav's wives. 3 reasons, Rashi says. So Yaakov should get the brachas because of the smoke of Esav's wives and because he looked up to Shamayim. As the Sifsei Chacham, what do you need 3 reasons for? Rashi never brings in 3 reasons for something. 3 reasons. So Yaakov should get the brachas because he looked in Shamayim and because of the smoke. Says the Sifsei Chachamim, the 3 reasons are necessary because each reason alone wouldn't explain this story. Why? Sokter Azoy. They were making smoke, these machshefes. How come Rivka didn't become blind? How come Rivka didn't become blind? The teretz is that Rivka's eyes were not sensitive like Yitzchak's eyes. Why was Rivka's eyes not sensitive? She wasn't an oila tamima. She wasn't able to see. His Kodesh Dika eyes were affected negatively by that smoke. Okay, now I know how he got blind. Why him? But why did he get blind? That's how, but why? So Yaakov should get the brachas. Each point of Rashi is explaining a different knech. Why? How? Why? So Yaakov should get the brachas. But how? Because he went blind. But why him? Because he was... Oy ba'zoi, listen to what happened. Esav Roshan was mechabed his father, correct? Mitzstein used to put on nice Shabbos clothing. So when his daughter, his wives, were making avodah zarah in the house, yeah, it says in the Torah that it was Mitztayer, Yitzchak, and Rivka. Why didn't he kick them out? Vav sarois, kibud av, zelo yafeh, get rid of them. No, Abech, Kenish, Shalom Bayis, all these different excuses, right? Bekitzer, you know why your father went blind, Esav? You know why? Because it's your fault. You could have done something about it. You could have thrown them out. If you would have thrown them out, he would be seen. If he would be seen, Yaakov wouldn't be able to impersonate you. So let me ask you a question. How do you think Yaakov got here? Because your father's blind. But who caused that? Your wives. You can't have kindness on Yaakov Avinu. I mean, you could have kindness, but you did it to yourself. You got nobody to blame. You know, when a person realizes that he messes up in life and he's got nobody to blame, sometimes it's the hardest thing because you want to point fingers at somebody else, but you can't. Vayitzak Esav tza'aka gedoyla umara me'oid. Who is he going to blame now? Who are you going to blame? Who are you going to blame? You blame your brother Yaakov? You blame Yaakov? You know what? But if you would have stood up, you're Esav. Off with your head. He tells his wives, get this out of my father's house. They run. Why didn't you do it? I don't know why you didn't do it. You had your cheshbonos, but the fact that you didn't do it, your daddy got blind. The fact that your daddy got blind, therefore he couldn't see when Yaakov Avinu came in and said, Anochi Esav v'chayrecha. That's why you lost the brachas. Rashi tells us there was no other reason that Yaakov was able to get the brachas because Esav Harasha was mechabed his father when it suited him right. The mitzvah of kibbud av did not protect him because he wasn't erlich in his mitzvah of kibbud av. When you do a mitzvah, dav zayin erlich. You have to do it for the right reason. You can't just think, I'm going to do the mitzvah, no. For that, you get schar in this world. But for it to be a nitzchiistic mitzvah, you have to do it for the right reason. Esav's mitzvah was a self-serving mitzvah. He did kibbud avim because it was good for him. And therefore, the mitzvah of kibbud avim never gave him those brachas. It was never the way it was meant to be. It was never the way it was supposed to be. And therefore, the mitzvah never protected him. And him not keeping kibbud avim when he could have kept it, would he have really kept it the way it's supposed to, then he would have never lost those brachas because Yaakov never would have been able to come and take it away from him.